Done. We are live. Awesome. Well, all right, let's get ready to go. Live out of Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Welcome to the Jones and Arocho Show, hosted by Byron Jones and Victor Arocho. Brought to you by the Sportscast. Today's December 17th. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to all our channels. Go on YouTube, Periscope, iTunes, and if you're on iTunes, please go to the iOS app and download the app. If you could rate us and review us, it would help us out tremendously. Also, check out our Sportscast, our website at sportscast1.net. We're streaming live now on Facebook. We're streaming live on YouTube and Periscope, and we're live for call-in. So let's get this party started. Byron, we're back. How are you? And tell me, I saw some pictures, so tell me, how does the weather?
Woo! It was brutal. Probably about 1 o'clock yesterday, it started snowing here. So, I had everything set up. I was good to go. The next, it starts picking up and picking up and picking up even more. Probably about 7 o'clock at night, we probably had about 6 inches of snow. So I was out there like a knucklehead with my snowblower going up and down the street, being the wonderful neighbor that I am, plowing other people out.
Okay, wait a second. Did you just say snowblower?
Snowblower.
Okay, so can I pull your card? Because when we grew up, there was no snowblowers.
Oh, not for, yeah. You were the snowblower.
Those metal shovels is the reason why I came south. There was no snowblower back then. And then you had to do the neighbors, and then your buddy called you. You had to do their houses, and then you go from there to there.
Remember the key thing: free.
Exactly. So when you say snowblower, I thought that was funny. Yeah, I saw some pictures for some of our friends that posted in Jersey, and I was like, wow. I saw downtown, not downtown, but Madison Square, Times Square, New York. It was buried. I don't miss that. I could say right now, today was beautiful. It was probably 72.
Oh, thank you.
It was rather well. I was a little late. So to our fans out there, I was a little late today, only because I was trying to make it home to do the podcast here as opposed to my office. And then I lost the contact on the way. So I'm driving with like these reading glasses with one contact on, trying to get here on time, and then trying to get the tech and everything going. So I thought, oh, well, we'll have a fun show anyways. But I knew it was going to be cold over there.
Did I tell you it was another 6 inches when I got up in the morning?
So you did all that for nothing, or would have mounted it on each other?
It would have been like a foot, But I did, the 6, and then I did the 6, and that stuff was so hard that, as big as I am, I walked across the snow and didn't leave a footprint anywhere. It was that hard.
So you're lucky you did the first set, because then it would have been even harder.
Yeah, it would have been a mess.
It would have been a mess. Yeah. How's the temperature going to get to tonight? Because that's where the problem becomes when it gets.
It's supposed to be in the 20s tonight, but the whole key thing is I'll be in the house. So
no, but that's when the snow starts freezing.
I'm retired. I don't care. I have no place I need to be tomorrow.
Other than snow blowing.
I'm not even going to do that tomorrow. I'm gonna find me a little kid walking down the street. Say, "You want $20?
And let him do it with a shovel.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll be supplying the shovel, the salt, and everything. Here you go, my man. $20.
Oh my God, that is funny. All right, well, let's get this party started now. All right, so we got our Giants hat on. Yeah. Very interesting game. They were just terrible. Look, I like Tyler Murray. I like the Cardinals, but they're not that much better than the Giants.
No, not really. No. Well, you can see Daniel Jones shouldn't have played. That's my opinion.
You think he was hurt, or was he just terrible?
Without a doubt, he was hurt, because any other time, when he got pressure the way he was getting it, he just took off running. When did you see him run? I didn't remember him taking off running, not one time. Or if you got that much pressure, roll out to the right, roll out to. He didn't even do that. He was hurt. They taped it up as tight as they could tape it up, and he's going to be the good soldier, and went out there, and now look at him. Now his other leg hurts.
But that's two things. One, it's depending on where it comes from. I'm going to give you every side for me. One, at first, if I see it at first, it's selfish on his part, right? You got to be at your best if you're going to play with your team. Number one. Number two, it could have been selfish or concern of the fact that Colt McCoy won without him, right? And only threw for 100 yards, right, against a really good team. So, New York's a tough place to play, so you don't want to get forgotten very quickly. And you see the disaster that's happened south in Philly where you're at. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, and then the other part are the coaches. I mean, what are you thinking, right? I mean, first of all, I forgot Colt McCoy was playing in the league. Nor did I know he was a second-string quarterback. And during this game, they were rooting for him to come in.
Because everybody probably knew, his teammates knew that he was hurt. The offensive line, they know if it's hurt, or not. But he shouldn't have been out there. You could see that he was struggling, to drop back, and just put any steam on the ball. And he just, in my opinion, he shouldn't have been out there.
Then he hurt the team, right? Even if we would have lost, but we played like we've been playing, I'd be happy, right? But not to go down that way. And look, our run was terrible. We didn't run. I mean, if Eddie was on, our guest host last time, Eddie Valdez was on, he'd be really pissed because we ran up all those yards Seattle. Yeah. And then we go to the Cardinals and, not one runner had over 100 yards. Not a passer didn't, I think he had maybe 100 yards. He threw for as much as Colt McCoy won, and we beat the Seahawks.
Yeah. Well, they had, I read somewhere that I think Gates is a center. He said that the Cardinals gave them a different look. They gave them they came out with kind of like a 4-4 defense, and then they manned up on, the receivers on the outside, and Buda Baker, the guy that got ran down by Metcalf, matched up with Ingram. How many catches did Ingram have the whole game?
Yeah, none of them had. None of the passing was, the quarterbacks didn't have any passing. Our run game was terrible. All three runners really didn't do. They all had like 40 yards or something like that. It was just a terrible, terrible game. And it was just a terrible game. And then I just couldn't believe we'd be in the position we're in, then be in a position to be wanting to have Colt McCoy warming up to come into the game.
At least, he did, something. He would have been better than what they had back there. At least they could have, rolled out with him, roll out or take, he could run a little bit or do something. He was sitting up.
He did his job last week against a good team. I mean, that's what a quarterback needs to do. The defense was playing great. Just don't keep giving it up. You know what I mean? So I think if he was hurt, right, and it seems to be, then they should have just let Colt McCoy play. He did good. He didn't turn the ball over. He handled it. You know what I mean? And you don't know what a guy like that could come. The guy's got talent. I mean, you ain't got to be around the league for 12 years making that kind of money.
No. But he just, I don't know. He was being a good soldier. He's trying to be like Eli. I'm sure there was plenty of times when Eli Manning was playing that he was hurt and that he shouldn't have been out there, but he went out there anyway. And maybe he's trying to think along the same lines that, okay, I'm hurt, but I can drop back and I can throw the ball as long as these guys protect him. But when you have Hassan Reddick, the outside linebacker for the Cardinals, get 5 sacks, he's a Jersey guy. I'm not gonna slam him too much. He played over at Camden. He's Camden County. And,
all right, shout out to Jersey.
I think went to Temple too, Temple University.
Oh, awesome.
And, for him to get 5 sacks in one game, I don't think he probably hasn't had 5 sacks, his whole career since he's been here. And he got 5 in one game against our number 1 pick, Andrew Thomas. I'm a dud. He's awesome.
That's like the water boy, right? ESPN the water boy got 16 sacks in one game.
Pretty much. That's what Reddick. I was like, and I'm sitting there watching it. I'm like, he's making him look like a Hall of Famer like Reggie White or
Strahan
or Derek Thomas or one of these guys. And I'm like, I've never even heard of a guy before. Next, he's just, here he goes. He's speed rushing up. speed to power. He pushes Andrew Thomas out the way, and Thomas goes flopping, to the right or to the left, and there goes poor Daniel Jones down. I don't know. He's been playing well. The 4 games. The offensive line, but that was a big setback. That was bad. That was really bad.
Well, look what we got coming up. All right, so right now the Redskins are ahead, but we have coming up the Browns, the Ravens, and the Cowboys.
Well, I'm sure you heard that Bradbury is out for COVID this week. The corner, he's out. The offensive coordinator is out.
Garrett.
So Freddie Kitchens, his old team, he's going to be the offensive coordinator, against Cleveland. So we'll see how this goes. But if Andrew Thomas doesn't shore up against the Browns this week, you got Myles Garrett, probably the best defensive end in all football, is going to be lined up across from him, and he might set a NFL sack record against them if he doesn't improve in 1 week.
Yeah. And let's hope they make the right decision at quarterback. If Daniel Jones gets better by then, Cleveland's a good team, but they're streaky too. So, everybody's vulnerable for a loss. I mean, Seattle took a beating, and at one point they were a front runner. So, and then you got Cleveland coming up, and then we got the Ravens, which we're going to talk about the Ravens. And I don't know if you saw the Ravens in the Browns game, but now we got the Ravens coming up. And, you're going to, again, with both of those teams, and then the Cowboys, but I'm not worried about the Cowboys. But between the Browns and the Ravens, both of those teams, you're going to have to keep their offense off the field.
Well, both of them run what's going to happen is that because of the strength of the Giants defense is the run defense.
Right.
And the strength of Cleveland so far has been their running game, which is, Chubb and Kareem Hunt and him. And same thing with what do you call it? The Ravens. You got Lamar Jackson. You have to worry about him, but Ingram is back as well. So but in both of those games, they're going to be playing to our strength, but it's not going to help this week because you got Bradbury out and you have Landry, the receiver, which is a pretty good receiver for Cleveland. So, hopefully, the defense keeps playing well and it'll kind of level things out.
Yeah. And then you got the Ravens with Lamar Jackson. And then, he's a toss-up, though. I mean, he had a great game this weekend against Baker Mayfield, who had a great game. I mean, that was an 80-point game.
But look what they did. They got their strength is running the ball. As long if they can run the ball, and he does, he can throw to his tight ends. He's got good tight ends.
You're talking about the Ravens.
The Ravens, yes, they have good tight ends. That he's a lot better.
They had 2 people. They had the running back and him running for 100 yards.
They run the ball. They're fine. When they get back to the basics, run the ball. He's not like, we talked about that with Justin, before, that he's not one of those guys that's going to get back and he's not going to carry the team throwing the ball 40, 50, times a game. He's not that kind of quarterback.
Right. Well, I want to be, from my perspective, what I'm hearing you say, but I'm going to tell you my opinion and be clear for the listeners, is when we're saying they need to run the ball, the main part of what I just said about him having 100 yards and the running back having 100 yards, the main part of that was there was a running back that ran for 100 yards. That is the main key, right? Because he could still win if he ran for 50. The 100 doesn't hurt, right? But you can't expect a quarterback to be running for 100 yards a game, right? But you could have – he's a great threat. So I think seems like you agree. You tell me your side is that awesome, both of them ran, but the key component of us, you had a running back running over 100 yards. That changes the game for him. And he was throwing sides. He wasn't going deep.
Yep. You figure, he's got, Ingram, great, running Heisman Trophy winner from Alabama. And, he's back, he's not banged up, what he's been. And, as long as they have him back there, running the ball, and Lamar, only has to throw the ball 20, 25 times a game, and, be able to run and, get anywhere between 75 to 100 yards with him. That's just extra if he gets, all those yards.
Yeah, but that's a lot, I would think. That's a lot of yards. I think if he could get, anywhere from, I guess he's a runner, but if he could stay within, 50, under 50 yards, which is still a lot. I mean, the Giants running backs, all of them had 40 yards each, right? Because you're gonna have to mix that up for a running back to run 100 yards is an impressive game, right? Running back runs 100 yards is an impressive game. For a quarterback to run 100 yards is amazing.
But look at the way their offense is designed. Their offense is designed for him to run the ball. He's going to run the ball more than like Cam Newton, back in the day would run, or even further. I'm gonna go even way back. Randall Cunningham. What were a lot of the runs that he had? Improvise.
Yeah.
Took off, but he still gained a lot of yards. Randall Cunningham, another guy, took off running, out of necessity because nobody was open. But, another one got a lot of yards. Michael Vick, look at him. A lot of those things were, designed with him as well. And now, they've just evolved all the way to where Lamar Jackson is going to run the ball.
And I understand. To me, that is the A version of the Wildcat. It's just a running back that's actually a quarterback.
Yep.
Right? Actually, the Dolphins brought that back, the Wildcat. And then everybody in the league started running it. They still run the Wildcat plays, right? With the quarterback out wide or the quarterback not in. You mentioned a lot of quarterbacks. You're right, but they all didn't win it. So where I see the difference between everyone you mentioned, inclusive of Lamar, is that you have Patrick Mahomes that can run the ball, and he does a pretty good balancing act of it. Tyler Murray can run. He does a really good balancing act of it. Baker Mayfield, he's not a runner like those guys, but he moves the ball a little bit. But the difference between I see with Tyler Murray and them is they're truly playing quarterback first and then looking for the run. You know what I mean? Knowing they can get away. They have enough shiftiness and quickness to make something happen. For me, I think he's got to keep his runs. If he gets those 100-yarders from time to time, it's awesome. If they design plays for him to run, that's fine. But the problem is they got to remember his psyche. He's used to being such a great athlete and running all over people with no problem. NFL, you're not going to be able to do that.
They're all great athletes.
They're all great athletes, and there's just one, wear and tear on his body. Two, the leg's eventually going to give, right? Because, it's not like Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. Think about it. They played a long time. It wasn't because they ran, right? Okay. So, I just think that you have some design plays. I think one, and I also believe that if they run the ball with Ingram, I think then he's unstoppable. But you got Patrick Mahomes that runs the ball very well, but he's pass first. Like if you notice that him, I don't know if you noticed his drop back. I'll let you go. You notice him and Tyler Murray, they're very good at running right to the line of scrimmage and looking. Guys like Lamar, once he goes, one, he's probably so fast. So he gets to the line a lot faster than them, right? But I think that once he makes his mind to run, he's not really looking to throw all the way up to the line of scrimmage. Those guys are always looking to throw up to the line of scrimmage, and then they take off. Or they may already have an idea that I'm going to run, but they're faking it all the way to the line of scrimmage. What do you think?
But look at the receivers that Arizona has. They got
Andre Hopkins,
and they got Fitzgerald. So these guys know that when this guy starts running around doing his thing and he's going to run up to the line, they're either going to come back toward him to get the ball, or they're going to go deep because he can launch that ball probably that far where they can get to him. So that's probably something they work with. And the same thing with
Mahomes.
Mahomes. Well,
Tyreek Hill, he's got Kelsey. He's stacked.
Loaded receivers. So why would I have to take? I want to get that $500 million that he's going to get over the next 10 years. So why would I want to risk it? Take a running.
I guess my only thing is I just think that that those guys they want to throw the ball, and they're going to use their legs to give them enough time for their receivers to do something in an effort to go downfield. And Lamar just demonstrated that on that last play, though, because he threw the ball and that guy went deep finally. You know, some of it may be – sometimes it's not even the quarterback's fault. It's the receiver's running. You can throw the ball to an empty yard, and why is the quarterback throwing such a dumb ball? It's the receiver didn't do the right thing.
But look at prime example, Aaron Rodgers. What does he do usually? If he gets somebody to jump off sides, what does he do? That guy goes – he throws it deep.
Oh, it's over, yeah.
Every time, without a doubt, they know that if he pulls them offside, just go. I'll get it down there. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's worth taking a shot. You're right.
He does it all the time.
Yeah. He's having a great season.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I like Aaron Rodgers. And imagine the season or just his career that he's had sitting for 4, not playing for 4 of those years.
Well, Steve Young did the same thing with Montana up there in San Francisco too. He sat for a while.
I don't think it was 4
years.
I
don't think it was 4 years, but it was close.
Yeah, I heard he was a challenge, Steve. He's always in the ear, getting in. He still was no Montana.
No.
Montana.
He's still in the Hall of Fame, though.
Oh yeah. I mean, he was great lefty quarterback, and he could run. I mean, they were excited. Remember, man, they can't. During that era, it was always against the Giants, or it was either San Francisco or the NFC East.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean,
Dallas, Washington, Giants, and no Eagles.
Exactly, and no Eagles. All righty. So now we got. I want to talk a little bit about the AFC East. Oh, wait a second. I didn't want to finish that one. Washington. Okay, Washington is in first. Okay, and I want to go back. Well, we already talked about that. Washington's in first place. They got next up is the Seahawks, the Panthers, and the Eagles. So they seem to have a little lighter schedule.
They have a lot lighter. Yeah. But that front 4 that they have, those 4 guys, them 4 number 1 picks, are going to put a lot of pressure on Russell Wilson. Who was the other guy? Russell Wilson. Who else did they play?
Okay, you got the Seahawks, and then the Panthers, which is Terry Bridgewater.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then you got the Eagles.
Yes, Jalen Hurts. So with those 4 guys,
Jalen Hurts did pretty well. So
yeah, he did a good job. He did. I hear it around here every day.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Are
they putting a statue up yet?
Yeah, it's already started. He's got one.
It's already started. I'm sure Justin will be happy to hear that.
Yes. This is in front of Tony Boy's down the street over here.
You gotta send me. You gotta freeze a Philly cheesesteak for me. Yeah, they have that concerns me. So I don't understand. They still have us a higher chance of winning the conference, though.
Yeah, but with Daniel Jones hurt,
offensive coordinator,
defensive
back
out. So this game, unless the defense is going to be really special this week because Cleveland's going to try to run the ball. Not try to. They're going to try to run the ball, and as long as if we can keep them under 20 points, we have a chance to win the game. If Colt McCoy, is going to be the starter, but if we don't keep them under 20, they have shootouts like they've had the last couple games with Cleveland. It might get ugly quick.
Yeah. You don't want to. Well, first of all, you just can't have I don't think we're the team to have a shootout with anyone. My magic number is we've got to keep it under 24 to win games.
Keep it under, they're good. Anything over that, no.
Well, if we keep it under, we got a chance. Right? Anything over that, there's no chance. Number 1. Number 2, there's not a quarterback. I don't care if it's Daniel Jones healthy or Colt McCoy. You can't be in a gunfight with Baker Mayfield.
No.
I'm not a Browns fan. I can't say I like or not like Baker Mayfield, but I'm happy he's having a successful season because they were all over him early. Maybe that comes with fame and all the commercials he has, and they were just complaining about him that he's more concerned with his commercials and so forth. And I will never forget him going on because I don't get it. This is the worst 4-2 team I've ever been.
But remember the one thing, why are they playing well now? Think about it. We talked about this before.
Look, it's the only thing I can think of is Odell.
There you go. They're playing well now because you don't have that guy running back to the huddle.
Give me the ball. I'm open.
Give me the ball. You don't have that guy. He's not that guy in the guy's ear. And look how well they're playing without him.
Yeah.
So
It's also good. You don't know though, because they didn't also the first several games they didn't target him a lot. So I mean, that's Odell Beckham. Throw him the ball. They didn't target him a lot. I was like, he's not going to be, because I know he's a diva, but I can't say I know, but he's got that diva personality, right? He didn't throw a lot his way. So I thought that was going to cause like a controversy as opposed to him getting hurt, but he was not getting a lot of looks.
Maybe he was hurt a little bit, because he's a little fragile too. He's gotten hurt every year since he's been in the league, pretty much. And maybe he had tight hamstring or something was wrong with him where he weren't targeting him as much. But now I'm just great player, and feels bad that he's out. Because you figure he really probably wanted to play up here, the Giants, to show out. Here, but next time.
Well, but they're playing fantastic. Chubbs is killing it. And that's the other thing you don't know. Maybe it wasn't Modell. Maybe it was just that running game was because I didn't hear Chubb's name as much as I am hearing now. I mean, he's tearing it up.
Good back. Him and both of them, Kareem Hunt, both of the backs, they have are really, really good. So they don't have one back where you're going to run them into the ground. They can bring, this one does this and this one can run and catch the ball, which, Kareem Hunt can do. And, they're running to their strength. And right now is, running the ball.
Yeah. I mean, I think that if they well, no, I lost my trend of thought. I apologize. Cleveland. They look good. I mean, it just this has been a crazy season, right? Where Pittsburgh, right? Pittsburgh was, Baker Mayfield. This is the worst 4-2 team I'm on, and Pittsburgh was the worst undefeated team I've seen in a long time. Right? They're not undefeated now, but they're not playing well. I mean, they weren't really playing well. Like they were just ugly winning teams, right? I was just happy for Mike Tomlin, but now you're starting to see some of the change. The one who hasn't been affected the most, I think, has been affected the least has been Kansas City.
They're doing what makes them run. Patrick Mahomes, Kareem Hunt, Kelsey, they got to run.
Tyreek Hill, he's the bullet.
He's a beast. All 5'2". You got to catch him.
Yeah, well, that's the crazy part is that, remember, like you said, they know when the quarterback is in trouble, so someone going to come across. It's almost like Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes. They're on this. Like, listen, I'm gonna look for what I look, but go deep. I'll throw the ball to you.
Because you got a guy, he can throw, what, 60, 70, 80 yards in the air? So, you know what? If I was a receiver too, I'd be like,
yeah,
I'm going to just keep going.
Especially that fast. He's
fast. And throw it as far as you can. I get it. Don't worry about
it. And he can throw it.
Oh, yeah.
I remember when Randy Moss was with the Patriots and Brady threw the ball. And Brady goes, I threw that ball really hard. I just didn't realize how fast Randy Moss was. Okay, that guy was oh my God, 6'4", 40-inch vertical, ran like a 4.3 or something.
Yep.
I mean, that guy he was incredible.
Great athlete.
Moss and everybody. Okay, so we got the Ravens, so we got those two coming up, and then we got the Eagles. The Washington's got Seattle Panthers and Eagles. We'll see what's happening here. The AFC East is starting to now it's coming down to Buffalo and the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are playing well. I like Tua the way he's been playing. I mean, they lost the last game, but they're playing well. And Boston, Josh Allen's on fire. That's a scary team.
Especially if you got to play them up in Buffalo in the wintertime. Yeah, when it starts snowing like crazy up there, because most likely they're going to host, they're going to host the first game up in Buffalo. So I'm sure they're going to be so. You know what? I hope it snows like crazy here because the kid Josh, their quarterback, played in Wyoming, so he's used to playing in weather like that. But to be a Miami guy, to come up here and play in the snow and the sleet. You want to hurry and get off the field. You don't want to tackle. I know what it felt like. I've had it happen where
I played in the cold.
I played in the cold too. But it's different. When you're sitting there, you're like, you tackle somebody. It's like, oh Lord, that hurt. It seems like when it's cold, everything hurts even more, like a lot more.
Exactly. That's why you want to be on the field. Right, I don't want to be. I don't want to be the guy sitting there, even with those big old coats. If you're not playing, I'd rather have no coat and be on the field.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens. But Josh Allen, he's man. Buffalo looks good. They look good regardless of whether the Patriots, where the Patriots are, and I think Tua is doing a great job.
Yes, he is.
They're really doing. And then and back to the Eagles, Jalen Hurts. I don't know if Justin's coming on today or not, but I'm back to what I said originally with Tua and Fitzpatrick. I think Jalen Hurts obviously had the majority of the snaps. That makes a difference.
It does make a big difference, when you're just, running the scout team stuff and you're running other team stuff and, toward the end of practice, all right, well, here you go, we're going to give you these 10 plays here, run this, you can't get, a job like a feel for, what you're going to run by just doing 10 plays at the end of the, whatever is a scripted practice that they have. But now because, he's the guy last week where, he got the majority of the snaps. Now you're going to see what he can do. He can run the ball. He's a runner. He's a runner, and he throws the ball a lot better than when he first was at Alabama, when he was kind of, and then when he went to Oklahoma, all of a sudden, he's lighting it up, throwing the ball. But, he can run the ball, and it's going to be perfect now because the weather is changing up here, which is all the snow. And, it might fit in with him, being the quarterback now, running the ball a little bit more.
I also think it helps that I think the team was I think they were ready for a change, and like you said, they would have saw something in practice. And I think I don't know, as a player, do you sometimes get pissed off when you see $100 million quarterback playing like crap and you're losing in the conference? Because after the game, a lot of those players were excited about having Jalen play.
Because he, the young kid, he's going to be excited, that he's starting, that he's playing now, and he just brings a little bit more juice, just a little bit more juice. But then the problem around here we got in Philadelphia is that you got $107 million quarterback. What are you going to do with him? Because his cap number is like 2024, so it's not like they could trade him or release him or do whatever. They can't do it because they have to eat all that money.
Yeah, he's going to get paid like $24-30 million next year.
Crazy amount. And so what are you going to do with him? You're going to, put him on the sidelines for the next 2 years until you get rid of him?
I don't know. If you ask Justin and the crew, they're going to be like, yeah.
No, they're not going to do that. They're going to do it. They're going to, see how things play out, and then probably entertain, some offers in the offseason, for
Jalen.
For Carson Wentz to see, if this guy plays well. But
nobody's going to take Carson for that money.
That's too much money. Too much.
Yeah. So if anything, they're going to have. The sad part, if there's anything, they'd have to trade Jalen.
No, but why would you trade him?
You better trade. The problem is they leverage the team. Then they're going to be bad for a couple more years.
Yeah, because they shouldn't have gave that guy that kind of money, not knowing that, what he's going through, what he's been through, as far as with the Super Bowl. That was Nick Foles. That wasn't him. He was having an MVP season all the way until he got hurt. But then Nick Foles is the one that brought it home. It wasn't him.
It's all that matters.
Yep.
It's all that matters. Do you also think that with Jalen, besides being a great athlete and not discrediting to the game he had, but also there's got to be something into the fact that maybe it's not that easy to pivot your defense between one type of quarterback to another. I mean, you may have some similar plays, a lot of the same plays, you still got a different dynamic in the quarterback. Now you got to watch out for a runner compared to where before he was just dropping back. You didn't fear him running.
Yeah, but earlier in his career, which he hasn't been around like Wentz, he could run the ball. When he played at North Dakota State, he could run the ball. I don't know what happened now where, all of a sudden it just fell apart, or he got bad wheels now, or he had the knee, injury that he doesn't trust himself the way he does. But you also have on the flip side is that you have a lot of defensive coordinators now because they knew Jalen Hurts was there, that they're going to look at film as far as when he played at Alabama and Oklahoma, that they're going to be ready for him coming to the game as far as, well, hey, this guy can run and he'll take off and run if you give him a chance. So right. they're prepared for it, but it's just being prepared for it, and when you actually see it and feel it is two different things.
It's like it's like preparing against, back we were talking about, they were saying preparing against Michael Vick was very difficult because not only was he left-handed, you didn't have someone as fast as him that could play look team quarterback. So, defensively, you'd have to have like a running back play quarterback, somebody play a different position because you couldn't prepare for that.
Or the fastest guy on your team, you put him back there, in practice. All right, you're going to play Michael Vick this week. So whatever, run 900 miles that way and that way, but we want to, try to get, the feel for it.
And he could throw deep.
Very deep.
Mike could throw deep, man. Let me tell you something. When he played, it was electrifying to me. It was electrifying. The things that I've seen him do. It's sad that he wasn't able to get to the Super Bowl, but he was some hell of a quarterback. Yeah. Resurrected him in Philadelphia.
The city of brotherly love.
Oh yeah, they gave him $100 million contract too.
Here you go. Here you go. We don't care what you did. Take that money.
Yeah. They gave him $100 million contract after 1 year, right? I think he came in for somebody.
No.
Yeah, he came in. Somebody got injured. Michael Vick came in, and he wasn't making a lot back then, but at that point, and he lit it up. I got to find out who he was.
Yeah, I got to figure that one out.
Yeah. He came in for somebody and just lit it up. It's no different than, it was a big difference between him and Doug Flutie. But, when Doug Flutie was with the Buffalo Bills, he was this backup quarterback. His salary was $600,000 as backup quarterback. Quarterback got hurt, and that was the year he took him all the way through the playoffs. Well, because of his incentives, he got a $2 million bonus check based on the fact that he was able to get him to the playoffs, all the stipulations they have, but all the on top of. And if he doesn't get that opportunity, obviously if the quarterback doesn't get hurt, but also you still got to perform. So it was pretty interesting how he went from, $600,000 to $2.4 million. Michael Vick went from, $5-6 million to $100 million. But they like that number, $100 million in Philly, huh?
It was a nice round number. I wish somebody give me $100 million. I'd take it too.
I'll take any million rounded. Oh man! So how the Philadelphia fans? What are they doing? What are they saying?
I was talking to one last night when I was out there, with this blizzard going on, and of course, Jalen Hurts, he looks like that guy. I was like, oh geez, here we go. And he just started. He's like, yeah, they should have made that move to him a long time ago. Wentz is a bum. They gave him, all that money. I don't know why they gave him all that money, but yeah, I'm glad, they made that move to Jalen Hurts. So I heard that last night. Then I heard it this morning again from a different guy outside.
What's the news? What's the news saying? Sports
Same thing. Pretty much, they feel that, it was time to make a move, this guy, and they're worried about all the money that he makes as far as that, what we talked about before, the salary cap. They're looking to get rid of this guy. Somehow, some way, he's got to go.
Yeah. The only way he's going to go is to a team. They got Dak. They're going to keep Dak. I'm trying to think. Where do you think who's got the money to take him?
Jacksonville. Right down there, right down the road.
Yeah, but why? You're going to take Jacksonville. You already took a Philly quarterback that won a Super Bowl and was lousy,
Yeah, but,
and you paid him.
but this guy's a lot younger. He's younger. He's got more of an upside. I'm trying to sell him to Jacksonville now. More of an upside. He's a proven quarterback, and he'd be under contract for the next 3 or 4 years. So what's the hurt? Here you go.
I don't know. I think if I was another team, I'd wait it out. Right, let them eat that next year's salary.
Yeah, but they're saying it's still 24. That's 3 years. They're not gonna. Then he will not be sitting around Philadelphia making that kind of money, and Jalen Hurts is the guy. There's no way that he's gonna.
Okay, so play out some scenarios. Do you really think someone's going to take him though?
Yes.
You think they're going to pay him that kind of money?
Well, he's already under contract, so why would you have to worry about paying him? You're going to pay him now. Now they've accepted responsibility to give this guy all that money. But
wait a second, how does it work? Philadelphia pays him?
No. Whatever next team that he goes to will be paying him.
Right. So that's okay. That's what I thought. They're picking up his contract
yes.
at the value that was set with Philly. Got it. My question to you is, why would someone want to pick up that contract for Carson Wentz?
Because maybe you always have that coach out there that thinks they can fix somebody. Like they're ready to run Jimmy G out in San Francisco, out the door. Every year, the last 2 or 3 years, poor guy, he's done nothing, but he's won and had his moments and he's hurt all the time. You don't think Shanahan was like, you know what? I can get this guy. He can run my offense out there. I'm throwing different, like San Francisco. You got Jacksonville, needs a quarterback. I'm sure, if I thought about it, there's probably a bunch of other teams that need quarterbacks too. But you always have the head coach with that offensive-minded head coach that feels that they can fix somebody.
And then it isn't their money. It's funny you mentioned San Francisco. Speaking of San Francisco, they did the same thing with Alex Smith. Alex Smith took him to the NFC Championship, and they got rid of him the next year.
Next year, out the door.
And then he went to Kansas City, did a good job at Kansas City.
Out the door.
And he's at Washington. He's doing a pretty good job.
Well, this is his last stop. So he's been a good quarterback. His whole career. Unfortunately,
his early career, he had it hard. He was a big boy at Utah. That's when Utah was delivering all those quarterbacks. Was it Utah or is it Houston?
I think he played for what's his name too, Meyer.
Mm-hmm.
Urban Meyer.
Right at Utah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see what the future holds.
Yeah, I'm just I think that's I guess somebody will pick, but you're saying for 3 years, that's $75 million. You're picking up a $75 million quarterback.
Yeah, but how many other teams already have a $75 million or $100 million quarterback?
Right, they already got, yeah.
There's a whole bunch of them already. All you do is just pick, we assume responsibility. Here you go, Jacksonville. I'm going to throw that out there. He's going to Jacksonville next year.
Well, Jacksonville didn't they pay Foles $100 million?
And they're going to pay somebody else. They're going to pay Wentz. They're going to get another guy from Philly. There you go. Second guy.
Well, let me ask you guys, can they take his contract and actually pay him? Like he says, no, I want another $100 million. Oh, not $100 million, but I want. Can he renew?
He can go in there and say, oh, yeah, I want to, up my contract, renew my contract. Yeah, he can go in there and do it. I laugh him out the room. Yeah, okay, whatever. Get out of here. You're funny.
Oh, my God. That's funny. All right, let's get on to college now. Tulsa. So anything happened with Tulsa? You said they were going to the conference and not playing this.
Yeah, they play this weekend against Cincinnati for the American Athletic Conference Championship, because they were supposed to play a regular game last week because of COVID. They couldn't in Cincinnati, so they couldn't play. So then this was already scheduled, so they'll be playing for the conference championship.
Awesome. What's their ranking right now?
Number 20.
So if they win this conference,
then they'll move up a little bit, and then they'll get to go to a tidy bowl, outhouse bowl, or one of they're not going to go to a big bowl game. They're already, Tulsa.
As long as they go to a bowl, because I would hate to go 11-1 and not go to bowl.
Yeah, I know how to feel.
Oh man, and I want to get into something else on the college football, but I just wanted to ask you about the Army Navy. I seen the day of the Army Navy game, and it was awesome what they're starting to do now. Like they're starting to make it a big event. It's like I kind of felt guilty of not watching that game as big as I am into, a big believer of the military and so forth. But what they're doing now with the Army Navy, each year, it's like that game is becoming, you know how commercials are to the Super Bowl. It's becoming the uniform award. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Some of those uniforms are
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, look who started all that
They're
stuff.
Under Armour.
Yeah, look at all the crazy uniforms they have. Like Oregon was like one of the big ones with all them crazy colors, the green and yellow and purple and all the other colors they had.
That's Nike, yeah.
Yeah, and then Maryland too, I think had Under Armour. Under Armour. Yeah, Maryland too was another one with that, where all the different uniforms and stuff. But that's pretty sharp, that military guys, can go out and style.
That's right. I liked it because it was true. Like it's Army Navy, unless you were an Army Navy guy, you'd watch blah blah blah. But because of that interest, it now piqued my interest of wanting to watch it. I wanted to name it. It was like one of those things that it would love to be as a tradition of the country to say, let's watch the Army Navy. Those are our guys, right? And they're smart. Smart and guys who are protecting us, because those are the top guys.
You should see the game because they play in Philadelphia normally, and they're all over the place around here when they come in, like the week before the game. You'll see the Navy guys, the Army guys, all downtown Philadelphia, all over the place. But then when they march in, the way they come in and then fill their seats the way they do, that is impressive.
Really?
Oh yeah, there's nothing like it.
Have you been to an Army Navy game?
One time.
Oh wow!
And there's nothing like it. They talk about the Iron Bowl with Alabama and Auburn and USC, UCLA, and all these different. But there's nothing like, no matter how bad the teams are, 0-9, 0-10 or whatever. But there's nothing like watching those guys march in, guys and girls march in, to the stadium, and then fill the seats. All of them are dressed the same, look exactly the same, and they're rooting, Army and Navy, they have the flyover and all kinds of stuff go on, when they play that game. But it's really impressive.
I'm glad I brought that up. I want to go to a game now.
You have to go to a game, at least one.
I got to go to one game. Now, why did you say they sometimes play in Philly? Where do they play?
Usually, because now with the COVID thing, they moved the game up to Army. That was the first time I think they said they played up in Army, like since 1943 or whatever. They actually played the game up there. Normally, it's in like Philadelphia, either Philly or like Washington D.C. or wherever.
Is that the Navy field?
What, in the Air Force? I mean, Philly.
Yeah.
No, it's the Eagle Stadium. They play right over here.
Oh, so they always play in a stadium. It's an event. They don't play just in their home fields or something like that.
It's always someplace else.
Oh, so it's kind of neutral then.
Oh yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I was reading up as to see if Marines play, and they said not too many Marines. Like Marines got their own little football thing, but
they don't get, like a lot of the guys that are getting ready to be commissioned officers. A lot of them are Marines that are playing on the football team. They're actually, they either commit to either the Marine Corps or the Navy while they're at the Navy Academy.
Oh, so you got to go regardless if you go in as a second lieutenant and you make it into the academy.
You'll either be a Marine or the Navy, I guess, whatever you choose.
Oh yeah, I was trying to read up on that. But anyhow, I thought it was awesome. Those uniforms were incredible. That caught my attention.
Oh, yeah.
That caught my attention to want to watch the game. It caught my attention to talk about it. It caught my attention to as a country, we should kind of all watch that. Now I'm more interested because you told me, because I've seen it, right? But you don't think much of it, right? Until it comes to light.
You gotta go to a game.
Now that you tell me about going to the game, and I love that, I've been to Super Bowls or World Series where they had the flyovers. Those are my favorite. When the Super Bowls or major games are down here in Miami and they do a flyover, they come right over my house.
Wow.
Because they have to get enough space. Right, so I'm close enough to the stadium, but far enough to the stadium for them to have to fly over. It's amazing, and it's loud. But I mean, they're not that close. But it's awesome watching them come by, man.
You got to go to Army Navy game. There's nothing like it.
Hear that, folks? Army, Navy, support our military, but you got to go to the game. Not only are you going to support our military, but it's an incredible experience, according to my buddy and co-host Byron Jones.
The only thing is, it's the first week of December. It's kind of chilly out there to be sitting in the It's a little cold for you.
As long as I can get tickets, I'm good with that. And the next thing on the college I wanted to get to, as we're starting to wrap this up a little bit, is because I'm going to get to the Amboy athletes. What do you think about them talking about the 8? Now they want to go to an 8-game playoff.
I think it's a good thing because now they might include Coastal Carolina. I'm gonna throw them out there because they're undefeated in the top 10. It might give an opportunity for those teams that you never thought would be, one of the big 4. The same, Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, and Ohio State. That's what you've seen. Seems like every year. Now with them expanded, another 4, maybe it might be, Notre Dame's up there now, but the Coastal Carolinas, the University of Tulsa, or a couple of other teams that you never really heard about but have been playing well this year.
The year that UCF says that they were the national champion.
Yeah, prime example. They were
Boise State. A lot of times.
Boise State. There's a lot of those teams you never think. They snuck up on Oklahoma that year. Boise State, and you have a lot of teams out there that what all we need is a chance. That's any given Sunday, Saturday.
All I'm saying is they better be careful what they ask for.
Hey, once you get in between those white lines, anything can happen.
No, I understand that, but the SEC didn't win 7-8 years in a row the national championship because that conference wasn't strong. So you imagine an Alabama being number 1 or a Clemson number 1 going against a number 8 seed.
You never know. Any given Saturday.
That's true. That is true. It's just, you want to make sure that those playoff games are good because there'll be a lot of people hammering.
They'll be all right. They'll get over it. But,
Yeah. But it's true. They said it'll be good. It'll give more chances to teams to be able to play. But then you're going to have the other argument about the money. But anyhow, I just want to see your opinion. I think it's good too. At least you got a top 25, right? And you got, only 20% have a shot.
But then, but keep crying about this anyway. You have 900 bowl games. So, you have 120 teams. More than half of them, get to go to a bowl. All they got to do is win, 5 or 6 games, and everybody goes.
True.
Everybody goes.
Yeah. Well, it's for them to play. It's good for the kids and so forth. But at the end of the day, it's just and it's a bowl game. Those kids feel good about it, right?
They get free stuff, little ring and probably sweatshirt and
being the best in the country is the deal. All right, so you want to go over a few of our hometown boys? I want to shout out to you gave me some light, the Nemeth family, the Oresco family, the Gatiss family. That was the first 3 families we started. Also the Taylor family. There's still more families as we keep going, but it's and there's more athletes. I'm not excluding athletes. I am just saying I learned that it's like my friends are the grandkids of the players that played in my hometown that were good, right? That's in the same town. That made me feel good to know their grandkids or their kids. It all depended on who they
were. Right. But we have a new addition. I forgot about them before, and I got a text. Not a text, but I got like an email, whatever, from somebody not to mention this family. The Garrison family is another family that was big in Amboy. Now I'm gonna go back.
They must have been listening then.
Yeah, I think they were. The Garrison family, again, the Taylor family. We're gonna go over Penny Feather, Swindell, the Urbanski, Cardi family. As far as football, baseball, as another family that was great in everything. Bendola basketball, Dillard family, from Perth Amboy, the Neiman family again.
Yeah, so Winfield.
Well, we're getting ready. My 1960s team. We got it right here. My 1960s team. You might remember Bruce Taylor, All Pro, from Boston University. Played at San Francisco 49ers. He's on All 60s team. Jay Zagnuski. Jay.
Yeah, big attorney.
Big attorney. Big dude.
Every time I shook his hand, man, I felt like it was Squash. It's like shaking your hand.
Big J, he went to Notre Dame on football.
By the way, this is for Perth Amboy High School,
Yeah.
New Jersey. So in Perth Amboy, New Jersey, these are athletes from our hometown that go back several generations, and we're going to start coming up to the earlier ones. But some of these families are like 3-4 levels deep.
Big J went to Notre Dame, football scholarship. Lori, Wellens, Goldman, and Spitzer. He's still working over there. You have Alan Goldsmith, Mr. Goldsmith, was all county, and I think he was all state. With that, and he's a little guy, wasn't a big guy, and he's big. He's still in the community in Perth Amboy. Does a lot for the Jewish community there. Mr. Goldsmith, Ronnie Garrison. That was one of the guys, one of the families. Was talking about. David Orlowski was another guy. From back in the football, I think it was football and baseball with him as well. George Carty, George and Bruce Carty, that's another one of the family members coming through Perth Amboy. Pete Savino was a very good quarterback, toward the end of the 60s. So we've covered the 60s mostly.
All right. So
we've got,
last week we did the 40s and the 50s, right?
We're going to do the 60s and 70s. We're close. We have, I didn't mention this last time. Central Jersey Group 4 champs in 1948. They were. That's with Lou Gatos. Back when we talked about them last week. 1952, they were co-champions, Perth Amboy. Then 1965, they were Group 4, which is the biggest group in the state. They were second place in 1965. In 1966, they were Group 4 champs. 1967, Group 4 champs. 1968, Group 4 champs.
Wow.
So they were powerhouse. So we get up to my 70s guys. We have Larry Mokar. Somebody sent me something out there to throw him out there because I forgot about him. As far as being a great.
I told you people were going to come out.
Oh, they were throwing. It was killing me out there. As far as baseball, football, and basketball. Yeah. Oh yeah. My man Chris. He passed away a few years ago. Clifton Winfield.
Yes.
Great player. He played at he went to school Wyoming. He was another great player. Ray Petro.
There's the Winfields also.
Yes, Sammy. Yeah.
Sammy Winfield was an excellent receiver. He was an excellent athlete.
A baseball player, great.
Was he was related?
Yes, that was his uncle. Oh yeah. Then you have Ray Petro. Remember Petro? Yeah, Petro. Big Ray Gazinski. I don't know if you knew Ray. Ray went to Purdue. And he was a baseball player as well. Big dude, man. He was light on his feet, man. I mean, I had to block this guy. I was like a sophomore or freshman or whatever, man, going to practice with these guys. Then Joe Misevich was another guy that he was a running back and linebacker. He went to Susquehanna University. Joe, he's still around. I think he's Monmouth County somewhere.
I like Susquehanna University.
I bet you don't.
I had an 88-yard punt return on him.
East Stroudsburg?
That's where I should have end up going, but no, this is when I was at Upsala.
Okay. Anthony Lester. I'm gonna throw my man Anthony Lester out there. That's Carla. We're gonna mention her later. Carla Taylor Williamson. She was one of the great track runners in our day. But her brother is Anthony Lester. He's a good friend of Mo Bryant.
Oh, okay.
Very good friend.
Yeah, Anthony Lester sounds familiar. I think I know him very well.
Oh yeah. You have Mark Hurlick. Big Mark went.
Oh yeah, Clemson.
Mark went to Clemson.
He was in the 70s.
Yeah, he's late 70s, and he went to Clemson, and then he's also Army Ranger. He was in the military after he went in. We played football. Then you have Howard Dillard. You got Juan Polanco. Went to the University of Pittsburgh. I had to block this other big old beast. He was a beast, man. He was rough. He was probably the biggest and strongest guy that I ever had to go up against. I'm talking about at all the level. He was that big and that strong in high school. Yeah. And I had to do a shout out to my 1979 guys. That's me. The whole entire team. All Ernie Oresco,
Adam Early.
Adam Early, Michael Jones, Glenn Richardson, the first big shutdown cornerback back in the day. Glenn, my man.
Glenn's a good guy. We got to get him money. He went to Howard.
Oh yeah. Norberto Rosado was another guy with the white shoes. He was cool. With the white shoes back in the day. Mo Bryant was on the team.
What did Eddie Lopez play with you guys?
Eddie Lopez. He was a year before me. Eddie Lopez.
I heard he was a good hitter.
Oh yeah. Oh, he'd light you up. Then we had Eduardo Trujillo. Eduardo.
Eddie played?
Yeah, Eddie played. Eddie was a kicker. He was one of the first ones with the square toe shoe. Yeah.
No, Eddie kicked?
Oh yeah, he kicked. Eddie Torello. Yes, he did.
No, I didn't even know he was on the team.
Oh yeah, he was on the team. But that 1979 team we went 5-4. That was their first winning season since 1968.
Yeah, that was the year I was coming in. Like Adam Early, I wanted that position. He was a tight end and defensive end. There was no reason that I should have played either one of those positions. I wasn't as big as Adam was. I could catch and I could run. I should have played receiver or quarterback. I got paranoid as a freshman. But
Adam
was a player.
But our biggest person right here is going to go next to the Taylors and all this is Nate Turan. Mm-hmm. Nate Turan had 52 sacks at Rutgers University in the 70s when they didn't throw the ball that much.
Wow.
They didn't start counting sacks until 2000 or 2005. The FBS record for sacks was held by Terrell Suggs with 46. He had 52 in the 70s.
That's 13 a game, isn't it?
Whatever crazy amount it was. And the FCS, the record is 59. Division II is 56. Derek Thomas, Hall of Famer in college, had 52 sacks.
Wow.
And Teddy Bruschi had 52. And Bruce Smith, Hall of Famer, had 46 sacks.
Wow.
But Nate Turan was that dominant at Rutgers University in the 70s when they did not throw the ball as much as they do now.
And that was the Big East still, no?
Yeah.
Or no, by that then.
I think they were independent then.
Oh, awesome. Well, let's see when we get shout out. We'll start listing some names on our channels. I'm sure we'll get more people coming out of when it works. Well, we had some talent. We definitely had some. All righty. So now we're gonna go. I'm gonna skip over some of that. I'm gonna just let's end it up with the NBA a little bit about. I have to eat a little bit of crow. Well, no, I don't. They had the power rankings with the NBA, and they got Miami like third or fourth. They have the Lakers, the Nets, and then somebody else. Oh, the Milwaukee, and then the Miami Heat. So I was pretty happy to see that. It's just funny that if I go and show you the list, though, right? More teams are being spoken about, and Miami's not one of them.
Why not?
Yet they're the number 4 team, right? They're like the 4th power ranked team over Boston. They're behind Milwaukee, which has got Giannis. They're behind the Brooklyn Nets with KD and Kyrie, and then they're behind the Lakers that are dominating. I mean, the Lakers are crazy good.
Well, why did they get disrespected so much?
I don't think they get disrespected. They just don't. They're not. They don't make any noise. Kyrie makes noise, right? Waiting for Katie to come back is exciting. LeBron and them are just playing great basketball. Giannis is being taught. He's a great MVP player. They were wondering, he just re-signed for 5 years. They talk about the Clippers, which are below the Miami Heat. Why? Because Paul George just signed a $100 million contract. They fired a coach. They're playing okay. They're still not figuring out what their team is. You got Golden State. They don't talk about it as much, but Clay got hurt. So Golden State's another one like a Miami that's a sneaker that's going to be coming up. Who else are they talking about? Atlanta's got a young team with Trae Young, and I haven't had a chance to watch them, but I want to watch them now. They're saying that the way they're playing, the basketball they're playing, it looks like just a bunch of young kids lighting it up with different basketball. So I don't know if it's much more of disrespect. I just think because if they were disrespected, they wouldn't have been voted in the power rankings, right? I just think that they're going to sit. They got enough money to make a monster trade.
But if they were in the NBA Finals, right? But they were in the NBA Finals, right?
Yeah.
So you figure they were the last 2 teams standing, them and the Lakers. So why wouldn't they be 1 or 2? Why wouldn't they be ranked that high?
Because they shocked the world. They didn't. First of all, they shocked everybody by who they beat. 1, 2. They shocked everybody in the manner that they beat these teams. Like they were sweeping through the East.
Right.
Okay, so it's one thing that they beat Philadelphia, they beat Milwaukee. That was impressive alone. To go sweeping through most of those teams,
They
that's
still, they still should be ranked in the top 3.
they're in the top 4 because Giannis, they picked up some guys, and they just, hey, I'll take 4. I'm not worried about that. I'm just, when I saw the power rankings, I was just wondering because we're above the Clippers, we're above a lot of other teams. So I just think it's just they're quiet. And then I was reading up that they got enough cap space that when the middle of the year that things are starting to heat up, Riley's hunting.
Oh, unusual.
He's got something up his sleeve because it's just that one mix, and they're good as it is. I mean, they got every player returning except for Jay Crowder, and they replaced the guy that can do just as good. And the kids that they have is turning 21, and the other one's turning 24. Right? And Butler's still young, and then you got and they're in good shape. I'd like to see them do well, so we're excited about to see them have it. But I just wanted to tell you, like we were talking, they weren't getting respect, but being number 4 in the league, I'll take it. And remember, Milwaukee was picked to win the Eastern Conference last year. So with Giannis signing, they'll get a few more players. But we were trying to get Giannis at one time, the Heat. Okay. All right, so we're getting ready for this week. So let's see what we got. Okay, you gonna make your picks, or you already made your picks for? What do you think is gonna happen with the Giants this week as they play against Cleveland? So what do you think is gonna go in the last 3 games?
What, the Giants?
Yeah, they got the Browns, Ravens, and the Cowboys.
They'll beat the Cowboys.
All right, so gonna go 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
What about Washington? Washington's playing the Panthers. They are playing. Hold on a second. They're playing the Panthers. Why am I missing my page? Okay, they're playing the Seahawks, the Panthers, and Eagles.
2 and 1.
They're gonna take it then. All righty. So we'll see what happens. All righty. So we're gonna wrap this up. Before we end our show, we always want to talk about the Gary Sinise Foundation. Just going to remind everybody, Gary Sinise, SINESE.org. Freedom and security are precious gifts that we as Americans should never take for granted. We must do all we can to extend our hand in times of need to those who are willingly sacrifice each day to provide that freedom and security. While we can never do enough to show gratitude to our nation's defenders, we can always do a little more. Gary Sinise. So if you get a chance, do a little donation. It helps out our first responders or military, which are key components, especially in the things that are going around to the world. As always, Byron, I want to say thank you. I always look forward to these, and I'm sure Perth Amboy is going to be lit up. So when you send me those names, I'm going to post them a little bit at a time so people can start coming in. Okay. So, well, yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
I'm sure they'll be beating me upside the head. I get those secret undercover, calls and texts and whatever else. They're coming.
Good. At least tell them to like the show. Like the show.
Yeah.
Like the show. Or tell them you're going to exclude the man. I'm not going to. Come on the show and tell us who you want us to hear.
That's right.
If not, it's your pick. You're the sportscaster.
I'm the one that looked it all up. Yeah, and I had a few people that called me and say, hey, well, don't forget this guy. Don't forget that. And I had some people do that, but for some reason, you're going to have the ones that are Perth Amboy people that are going to killing me. Oh, what about this and what about that? So I expect it.
It's our show. Sometimes you got to count the votes, and sometimes you weigh the votes. Our vote weighs more. So they got to figure it out. Or like the show, come on the show, give us your reason why this person was really good and so forth. We'll probably believe you, but come on, give them some love and support if you want to have people mentioned. All righty, so we're going to be wrapping this up. So please, you can follow us on Twitter at the Sportscast1 and visit our website, thesportscast.net. Join us every Thursday at 8 p.m. with more guests or more exciting shows. Find out who are the next Perth Amboy high school ballers during our time, during the 1940s. We're proud of our town in New Jersey. We're fortunate enough to grow up with a bunch of diversity and people of, people of all nationalities, races, colors, and I'm proud to be from there. It's sad that you have to walk out of 4 square miles to find that there's a different world out there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a little hold. It was too close for comfort, I guess. But again, please follow us on Twitter, the Sportscast at sportscast.net. Visit us on our website at the Sportscast. Next Thursday, 8 p.m., same bat channel. We'd love to hear from some of the players. We'd love to hear from the people from our hometown, Giant fans, Jet fans, Dolphin fans, University of Tulsa fans. So please join the show. Byron, love you, the family. Talk to you soon.
That's right.
All right, my man.
Enjoy. All right. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.